Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you too.
You're good.
Oh, okay. I was like, I guess we'll start. And then I first wanted to say we actually have a little mixed up. So there's two times floating out there. So we think there's a 4 p.m. time, and then there's a 4:30 time. So we may have more people out there, but that is coming in the next 15 minutes. But we did have a little issue with our time, but there's like 17 of you all are in here. And so we'll just start. And if we have to fill in other people, some other advisors or officers, we'll do that at the end. We'll stay with them and to walk them through the process. And so I should know everyone, but if I don't, I'm Rosalind Emmanuel Fernell. I'm the Director of Student Activities and Leadership Programs. I am also the SGA advisor. And so our budget meeting today will be held between me and Danielle. And Danielle, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle Brown. I'm the treasurer of SGA. I'm also a senior bio major.
Thank you. And so today, are we recording it?
Yeah.
Okay. And so today what we want to do is to give you an overview of the finance aspect in Griffin Engage, but also to walk you through a purchase request form. And so you'll get to a purchase requisition. I think it's what it's called. Purchase request is what it's called in the system. And we'll walk you through it. And so you can see how to fill it out. And we'll also show you what the advisors will see once you have submitted it, and then what it looks like once it's approved, what it looks like once it is also completed and your check is ready. And so we have been testing some things, and so please bear with us. And we are going to cross our fingers that everything works very well. So first I want to say that we still do not have a budget. And so I know it may sound really bad, but we still do not have a budget number, meaning like an allocated budget number to give to you all. And so you should have been able to see in your account that I included the fundraising. We have included the fundraising amounts that you had from fiscal year 2020, so meaning like last spring. So if you had fundraising in your account currently, you should be able to see how much fundraising that you have, and we'll show you how to do that as well. But the allocated funds, there's nothing in them because the university has not given us a budget as of now, and we are hoping we'll get it soon. But we don't want to put a number in here and then it's going to change later, and then there'll be confusions. However, if you do need to spend money, like you would still submit this purchase requisition, and then we would approve it on case by case as you submit them. The site would allow you to submit on a zero balance. And so that is fine. And then we'll just adjust when we receive a budget. Any questions about that? We were really hoping that we would have a budget to give you by now. But if you're faculty or staff on campus, you know, it's really not SGA's fault. So we are trying to see when we will get one. And as soon as we do, you'll be the first to know. Okay, so to get on the site, And so me and Danielle are going to rotate sharing our screen, right, Danielle? Are
Yeah.
we doing that? Okay.
Mhm.
And so when it comes to the purchase requisition aspects of it, like she's going to share her screen because she's going to complete it on the student side. And then you can kind of see, and we could probably do a test as well. We'll do, we like number 6 test now, but we'll do a 7th test so you can kind of see how it would work. We are recording this session more so other people could watch it, and then also so we can know if we were to do like a tutorial, like a document, that it will be easier for people to follow. Okay, so if you are, for you specifically as an organization, and we're going to use SGA so we don't have to show everyone's budget out there. And so SGA will be the group that we will use for the purpose of this meeting. And so just like you would access your group, you would go into manage an organization. And then you would go under your finances. And so all the presidents and actually all the officers should probably be able to see this. At the end of this call, we'll talk to, one of the questions is going to be to limit some people's access, and some people access meaning limiting your officers' access. So if you're, if it's only your treasurer that needs access to funding, we could also show you how to do that. But I have changed all the access where all the club officers are able to see this. But if you do not want them to go into the system and put a purchase requisition in, we can also show you how to limit your actual members' access if needed, okay? And so once you follow those steps, you should see purchase requisition. You should see purchase requisition here. This is the page that everyone will come up. And then you could also click on account. And then under account, SGA have several, so that's why it looks like this. But under account itself, you should be able to see, for you as the clubs, you probably would only see 2 accounts. And your 2 accounts would probably just say SGA as the first one, like this, just SGA, and then SGA fundraising. So for example, for SAS, it would say SAS, and it'll say allocated funds, like the descriptions will be allocated funds, and then the second account will be SAS fundraising. Does that make sense of how your accounts will show? Okay, I can't see everyone, so I'm just gonna say yes. And so you should be able to see your amount as well, balance and available. You should be able to see that on that page if you click account. And that's how you can see how much money you still have available and how much money, well, what's your balance and then what's available. And Danielle, jump in whenever you feel like I need to say something. Okay. And so your available funds, so we can explain this correctly. So your available funds is what you have left entirely in this account. So like if we're looking at the traditions account, is what you have left. If you were looking at balance and it was both of your account, is what you would have in both your fundraising and your allocated account. Did I explain that correctly? I'm going to practice on somebody.
So like available is the reason why, oh, Roz, could you go back real quick?
Yeah, I was going to try someone else that does not have a confusing account.
So if you look at our
Oh,
balance
SAC.
and our available
I can-
funds, you'll see a difference of $1. And that's because yesterday we put in a purchase request for $1 and it was accepted, but it was approved, but it wasn't completed. So our available funds is down $1 because that means we have $1 less available to spend. But that money hasn't been sent out and completed and the check hasn't been cut. So our balance is still $999 instead of $198. So that's kind of, your available is how much you can spend and your balance is how much is actually left in your account.
And speaking on that note, I think I can see SAC account. I think we can show SAC account because they don't really have a whole bunch of funds. And plus Danielle's the president, so maybe she could tell me not to show it. All right. I also am an admin, so I have access to all the accounts, but you don't. You wouldn't be able to click to someone else finances like this. So when I was trying to describe the accounts, everyone would have two accounts, just like how SACS is, that they have a fundraising account. They have a fundraising of $17.50, and then the Student Activities Committee is the actual allocated funds that is available. And so just now when we were explaining what balance and available mean, you could tell that like in the fundraising account where it said available, it's only $17.50, but there's really no money in the allocated account because available for your allocated account is $0.
And that's because no one has a budget. So no one has been given any money yet.
And so if there was like, let's just say $10 in the allocated account, in your balance, it would have say $27.50. And we only going over this a couple times just because it was a little bit of confusing before, and so we want to make sure that everyone got it. So your balance is what you have total in both accounts, and if you see it say available is what you have in just one each account.
Yeah.
I have kids. That's all. And if anyone can just give us a heads up, does that make sense? Is that okay? You have any questions about that?
No, I'm with you.
Okay.
This is all making good sense to me.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And so we're going to go back to the SGA account because that's where we practice to be able to show everyone. And so that's basically how you would know for your accounts. The purchase requisition, where it said purchase, is really creating a request, and a purchase rec, or when you creating a request, is just a check request form that you usually complete for us. That is a hard copy. We made it electronically, and so we're going to go through that. But know that if we say purchase request, that means that is you wanting a check, you wanting to get reimbursed. And then if there's a funding request here, that means like it's either you submitting your budget request at the end of the year, or you are asking us for additional funding from in addition to what has already been given to you. So really the only forms, unless you're asking for more money that you need, is the purchase requisition form. And so over here are the different status that will be, your purchase requisition form will be labels as when you get the emails or when you see them in here. You can tell from our test number 6, there's one that's there approve, and when you approve, it's green, and that doesn't mean that it's complete. When it's complete, it really means that we have the check is the check has been cut and the check is ready, and we did a test to say the check is ready, come pick it up, or we have like mailed the check. So we still have to do our process in the business side. So for example, if you did order t-shirts, this step would not be completed until you have received the t-shirts. And so approve would probably mean that you have the money. If you think about it, you have the money. Here's the purchase requisition, because some vendors need the PO number. Here's a PO number. Feel free to go order them. Once you have received your t-shirts, you would let us know, or we probably would already seen them in the office, and we would say the stage is complete. You have a package in the office, pick it up, or there's a check in the office, pick it up. Do you want us to mail it to you? Any of that stuff. If it's denied, it's red. Also, we have the capability of changing the amount. So for example, the only reason why we would change any amount is if it was a reimbursement. And as you all know, or may not know, because some of you are new, we do not pay for taxes. And so the institution don't pay for taxes. So if you do not use the tax exempt form, we will not reimburse you back. And so therefore, if your total was $50 and it was to put in, the tax was $2, we will only reimburse you $48. And you'll be able to see that we change the budget number. We change how much you're trying to get. So you'll be able to see that. You could see if we denied it, you'll see the little thing on the side that it's red. That means that we have denied the purchase, and that it's either maybe everything is not complete, and we would leave a note so you can see why we denied it. It's not complete, you need to resubmit it, or it may have been denied from your advisor, because your advisor doesn't have the access to actually send the purchase back to you. But they could deny it, and then it goes through us, and then we denied it completely, so whoever submitted will get it, but they don't have the access of sending it back to the actual student. So it is still continue to be super important that you make sure you check with your advisors as well before you do this, because then they could just deny it. And if they deny it from the get-go, we won't do anything. They'll just go back to you. The stages of how things work, and stages, all that means is like how we approve things. So student A will go into the system for SGA and create a purchase request, and they put all the information, and then it will leave, they will receive an email confirming that they have submitted it. Once they have submitted, it will go directly to their advisor. It's already set up that it would go to their advisor. And then the advisor will receive an email from Griffin Engage that will say you have a purchase requisition to review. And then they will review it. They'll change the stage and say it needs to go to the SGA treasurer, because they would only have access to sending this information to the SGA treasurer. And then it will get approved. And an SGA treasurer will send it to the SGA advisor, which is me. And then there's a final stage that goes to the SGA treasurer, but that's her writing complete. As far as the advisor is concerned, and the student is concerned, is that you just must submit it. Once you submit it, your advisor has to approve it. And once your advisors approve it, then SGA treasurer, Danielle, and myself will take it on from there. But a lot of the stages where it's the SGA treasurer final stage, that is still Danielle, but we needed to make sure with budgeting, we have been advised the more information we put in the system, the better it is. So we want to make sure we can document the stages that it went through, just in case we get audited and we have to figure out something. The categories, what that means when you actually filling it out. We have created different categories so it can kind of help you manage your budget. So if it's for decorations or dues or food, and we actually have divided food, where like if you are getting food from catering, if it's just food like baked goods or general food, however you want to label it, like you can pick all these different options. And so by picking these options, we can run a report to say how much money have the groups have been spending on Just Parkers, or how much money are they spending on buying things from Amazon. So maybe that would kind of like help us with future budget things, or even just for your clubs, because you could see, you could search just like I'm searching now to see what you spend, how much you spend on conferences this year, how much you spend on dues. Also, if you co-sponsored with someone, how much money like have your co-sponsored, like you can actually see this information, and it'd be easy and readily available for the advisor. That's kind of it for that page. We can pause to see if there's any questions. I see there's a chat. There's a, sorry. Thanks, Betsy. There's other people that have joined us. I can tell like 2 people have joined us. But is there any questions about that stuff that I just said? Okay, so I am going to stop talking, and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. And then I'm going to allow Danielle to share her screen, so she will do an actual purchase requisition from the student side. Yeah. And then we will share our screen so you can kind of see what they look like. So what it looks like, so it can, it could be, things could be a little confusing because they are new. And so just us being able to do it live with you, you could probably take notes and we could learn something from each other as well. So go ahead, Danielle.
Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so just like Rod showed earlier, this is what the officers see on their finance page. And this is where you would go to create a request. So like Rod said, you can make a purchase request, which is just what we renamed the check request, and then a funding request. So we're gonna go over purchase request right now. So you would come in and basically just fill out a form with all the information of the previous form that we had when you had to come to the student activities office. So we would just call this test run 7, request an amount, and we pick a category, and then select an account that you want the money to come out of. Like Raj showed, SGA has 1,000,007 accounts, but normally you would only have your fundraising accounts and your allocated accounts that you could select out of. So then you'd
and I will pause up to say, to move it up, that we want you to put descriptions of the event. I noticed that is not required. I may have to change that to make it required, but we need descriptions, and this is usually like the details of what this is for. So like if you were buying t-shirts, then you would say it's t-shirts for the Alex Valino walk. But you need to have details on it, especially if like you told your advisor that you were going to do this 20 years ago and you just now submitting it. It would be useful just so it could be like a refresher. But you need to tell us what it is for, because when we send it to the purchasing office as well, for them to cut the check or transfer funds, whatever it may be, like we need details. So the descriptions means that details of the event in the request, like why are you requesting funds for?
Yes. Okay, so then you would come down, the information, I have mine all pre-saved. And then this is basically what you would have seen on the check request form back in the office. So if I'm saying I'm paying someone, or if I'm paying someone and I'm using the declining balance card, you can select more than one thing. And then you would let us know if you're co-sponsoring this, and then basically let us know that you recognize that you need to use your tax exemption form, and that if you're using any funds, they have to be used for what you're asking for.
And I'm gonna pause with Danielle for a little bit. It goes back up, Danielle, to the description. So we'll just talk about this just for people that do not know or have not done a check request even when we were doing it last year, because I think we starting to forget that this is a new year. So reimbursement, basically what it is that if you actually end up spending out your money, your own money, this is where you would try to get us to give you a reimbursement, and you would click reimbursement. And we must have original receipts of it. If there's no, well, I guess your original scan receipt of it in the files. If you do not put it there, then we will automatically deny your request. And then payments, majority of the time, payments are used for vendors. So for any contracts, for DJs, for speakers, like anything that you are really like paying, that's where it would come. And make sure you add whoever you are paying. Where you see Danielle information that was up there, that information is whoever you are paying. So scroll up real quick, Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
So where it said payee information, that do not put your information, put whoever it is we supposed to pay. So just a note. So, because it's used to, everyone probably is used to, when you complete the form, you have to put your information. The form is automatically going to tell us who is filling out this form itself.
Yeah, I just put myself because my stuff is saved in my laptop.
Yeah. Go ahead, scroll down. And then the declining balance card, that is the TD Bank card that is located in our office. And so you selecting that declining balance card is just saying that you want to come and pick up the credit card from us, and you are going to go out and purchase, make a purchase, and then you'll bring it back to us. The most that you could get on that credit card is $300, but that works just like your own credit card. It's just that we put whatever money you need in there, and then you return it. And then if you are doing deposits, I know someone, was it PASA? Actually, it's no longer PASA. Social work and psych. Social work and psych, I think. If you are depositing funds, because I know they just brought us money to deposit. If you are depositing funds, you would do this right here. You would click it. It is still the same, where you cannot cannot leave money in our mailbox. So even though this is an online system, you just filling out the form, just make sure you do not leave cash in the SGA mailbox in the office, that you slide it under my door, or you could do it, drop it in the Dropbox in Allie's Jabbar Johnson's mail. Well, outside of her office, there's like a slot where you can just drop it in there. So please do not just leave it in the suite. We had bad experiences. So yeah. Keep going.
Okay. So under the required, agreeing to use the tax exemption form and only use the funds for Gwynedd related purchases, you would have the opportunity to upload receipts for any purchases. And this is required for reimbursements or purchases made by using the declining balance card. Right here is where you would upload invoices for any contracts. And then right here is where you would upload W-9s, which is also for like vendors and contracts and stuff. One of the final options is if you need the check in person or if you want us to mail it to someone. I always click this for the test because I don't need the check. But if you know that you need it in person, you can select this. And then anything else that you feel like we need to know for your purchase, or regarding the purchase, or any other instructions you want to give us, you can upload a file here. So then you just submit your request. telling me that I'm missing something, but it's not telling me what I need.
Please address your, I think it's your address, right?
Please address the errors below and try again. But I don't see errors.
Oh, okay. Slow down. Like, I guess go slow. Traditions. Your request must be submitted 2 weeks. No, we agree. Huh. Okay. $10 for advertisement.
Is it because it's not 2 weeks in advance?
No, that's just there for you as a reminder.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was the window that popped up.
Yeah, select your account again.
Try it again.
No, just select the account again. The account that where we are. I don't see anything that's not unchecked. This is why we had to bear with us. Okay.
What if I just click something else? Let's see.
Mhm.
I think it was you didn't upload the W-9. It says for the reimbursements, you must upload with it.
Yeah, that might have
might
been what
be
it
it.
was.
Huh.
Let's see. Declining balance card. No, but when we ran our tests over the past week, it was going through fine. So I'm really not sure what the problem is.
Yeah, where you said no, what happened? What did you pick no for? Go up.
No,
Yeah, go up.
I'll pick it up in the
No.
office.
No, keep going up a little bit. We agree to use will. Okay, so try again. Cancel that out and try again. That's interesting. So for us, it worked. As you can tell, we didn't actually do it ourselves. We let someone else do it. But that is how the form is supposed to work. Who just responded to us? I wonder if someone else try it, if it will allow you to do it. But I doubt it. You put an account. Is someone in their account, like in their Griffin Engage account now?
Roz, who's doing this? Is it us or?
So a student could do it. I mean, an advisor can do it too, but it's preferably a student will be doing it.
Yeah, like your club treasurer is usually who would be.
Yeah. Maybe you don't have to upload anything because I'll remove that option.
Mm-hmm.
Just upload a file and see what happened. Any file.
Genetics Fly Lab.
Huh.
I'm
Okay.
not sure if it's because of the file or because I changed it, just try it again, but it went through this time, so.
Okay.
So you can
We
see
will try
all
that.
the requests that you, like obviously we ran a bunch of tests, but this is the one we just did and it got sent in. It has the status of unapproved because your advisor hasn't approved it, therefore SGA treasurer hasn't approved it and SGA advisor hasn't approved it yet. So currently it's at the stage advisor. So when you see this, that the request has been created, you'll soon receive an email from Griffin Engage and then it'll send it to your advisor. So that's what this stage is. It's being sent to the advisor. So Roz, do you want to share that part?
Yes. And so the advisor, oh, I have so many stuff open. Can you still see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Does it has like my email?
Yeah.
Okay. And so the advisor, as soon as they submit it, you see where it said Griffin Engage review request for purchase requisition. You would automatically receive this. And the student probably just received an email that said they have been submitted it. And then this will be the description that you will receive. And so the test run, of course, will be whatever the event request is for. And then they'll say that you have been assigned to stage advisor. And all you have to do is review your request. Let me move this out of the way. As the advisor, you would get it here, and all of the information, the organization that's requesting for, who sent it is Danielle, what's the subject, what account, what is it for, who she's paying, all the details will be in there. So the advisor would be able to actually see what it's for before they can approve or not approve. And then requests, as of now, is they unapproved because we have not done anything. I mentioned that we are able to see the history of who sent it. So anyone could always go into the account and see what stage that their payment request is in. And then also the history of where it is now. And so Danielle did do it. And so for the advisor's purposes, you would go here. You all should have access to this. You would go here and then change stage. And when you change the stage, it's only because I'm a super user, so I can see all of this. But when you change stage, you should only see this one that say SGA treasurer. And then you can either say approve, or if you do not approve, you should say you don't approve it, because we don't actually have a button that tells you to cancel. But if you do not approve it, you should say you do not approve it and this is why. And then the SGA treasurer will just send it back to the student that submitted it. But here you would say approve, and then you would confirm. And Danielle, so technically for your purposes, that's all you would need to know. But we would say approve here, and then it would go to the SGA treasurer, and then the SGA treasurer would do what it needs to do with it. You wouldn't get any more emails. And so
You have to save it first. So go back.
Oh, I didn't save it?
Mm-mm. You confirm the save. So go back to the stage and click SGA.
Oh, sure. Very important. Very important step. Make sure you hit save. Okay. Make sure you hit save in the bottom so it can actually go to where it needs to go. And then now you can see that the advisor has approved it. Let's see, I think someone has a question. So thank you. Here. So another advisor, Betsy, just tried for me. And she submitted a request. And FYI, it just did the same thing of where it needs to go. So thank you so much for that, Betsy. Don't mind all of my emails. All right. And so once we received it, Danielle will receive an email, and this is how we will do all this process. The other part of the training is things that doesn't really pertain to you. It's more just the SGA treasurer. But as far as the steps and the stages, that's how we would get to where we need to. And then you could always go back to your finance page and to finance requests, and you can see all of this. And if, let's just say, the president or maybe the treasurer is not the one who submitted one, he or she could always go here and see all of the purchase requests for the entire club for the entire year. Like, it'll be there. You can even sort by dates and times. Any questions? You do not have to worry about funding requests for now. Did you have a question, Allison? Sorry.
Yeah, I just gonna double check. Do we need to change the settings for each of the members so that they can't access all the finances and do the purchase request, or is that only for officers?
So that is definitely up to individual advisors and presidents or the whole officers to decide. And I can show you right now how to do it. I want to tell you that for us, the Office of Student Activities, when we change an access, or access is changed for all clubs. And before, at the beginning of the semester, people only had access to certain things. And then Allie was getting email about why I can't do this one, and I can't do that, and I can't do that. So we went back and give all of the officers access. And so that's why we wanted to make sure, at least for the finance piece, the clubs decide who can actually do it. Because, and even if they submit it as an error, the advisor has to approve it first anyway. So technically, we would not process a check if the advisor didn't approve it. But it is still really truly up to you that if all officers should get the access to it. But the way that a club will do it will change their access.
I'm just asking more about officers versus members.
Members does not have access to your site.
Okay. That's
Only officers have access to your site.
Okay.
So if you were, let's just say the president and the advisor, or as a group, you decided that only the treasurer should be able to submit treasurer related things, because that's their role. And so you would go to your group and go to manage your organization, and you go to roster. And then you would go to manage positions, because your site should look just like that. So this is me doing it as Taylor. So you'll go manage your position. Let's make sure I remember how to do this correctly. Nope. Back up. Sorry.
Oh, is the pencil there? Next.
It's a little tricky. SGA has too many levels. Okay. All right. You would click on the actual position. So yes, go to your managed position. And so club reps in our club reps in SGAs consider as a member. And so they are not, oh, I should do this for an officer, but they consider as a member. And so because they consider as a member, they have no access to the site.
Okay.
So all of your members should probably be, their access should be set up just like this, where they have no access to submit events or change your front page. Like, you should keep it that way.
Yes.
Because
okay.
then they would change it without you all knowing. But in an officer's position, I guess we could do the secretary. And so for the secretary, as of now, he has all access. And so manage position, pick the position, and hit limited access. And so you see how everything none. because it's limited access. And so if you don't want them to have any access, you can just say they just have limited access and all they can technically can't really do much, but you can make them just be able to view things. So they could view documents. So view mean you just see it. Full mean that they could edit. So if you don't want people to be able to edit your finances, you can just give all of your officers access to view, but they can't do it. And then you could just leave the treasurer to be the person that has full access, that she can actually run report and she can delete things or add things, because by having everyone having access in there, someone could go in there and delete a purchase requisition or a pending one on your side. I think they could.
Yeah.
On your side. And so if they don't really need access to finance, you just want them to view it, I'll just let them view it. And if they don't really need to view it, then don't give it. Because sometimes the more information or more access that they have, the more that someone else can mess up things. And for an example, this is the reason why later we'll, on the club and organization side, Allie will come back and talk to you all, because service hours, if people have, the service hours is meant for the club. So those are the hours that the clubs has completed in terms of service learning, service hours, whatever it may be. But the officers themselves can put them in there, but they could also approve the hours for the club without the advisor or the president knowing. And so if it's one person that is in charge of service for the club, I would advise that they the only one that has full access for it, because that means any of the officers could approve them. So if you, we want to send something that says it is best to figure out what the positions are and then what their roles are, and then that's how you give them access to the site. But I would definitely advise that if everyone doesn't need access to if everyone doesn't need access to your finances, then that they don't need to. They could just view it. So because it's nothing that's that anyone cannot view. SGA budget is public, so if someone did come and ask how X, Y, and Z was spent, we have to show them anyway. So you could let them view, but they can't alter.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions or any questions?
Actually, Ross, I want to thank you
Megan.
and hi. I want to thank you and Danielle for doing this, because you know, I have found Griffin Engage to be such a good app, and with all of this, it really saves us having to, you know, we all do it. We save all of our requisition papers, you know, we send them to you, we make a copy, we put them in a folder and things like that. And, you know, what we're still looking at here, this is so great because you can actually go in and see everything, you know, that you've spent in the course of the semester. And that's so much better than pulling out my folder and going through all my papers and, you know, getting on the calculator and trying to figure out what we have left.
Yes. Yes.
And I like it, that piece, because I know so many times, you know, we emailed you or we emailed the treasurer and said, well, what do we have left? Does your number match my number?
Yeah.
So I really like this. So I want to thank you and Danielle, you know, for putting this together. And so my second piece would be that I'm hopeful that Danielle will send us the link to this, because this was a lot of information. I'd like to be able to, you know, sit with my officers and sit down and kind of play with it, you know, so that we're all pretty comfortable with it. But the two of you have really done an excellent job. So Danielle, thank you as well for putting this together and for sharing with us tonight.
Thank you.
No problem.
The only button that I didn't click on is this funding section, but that is just like I mentioned, is to create the request. You do not need that right now, but you could go in there and then create a request, like right here it said create funding, and then we ask questions in terms of like subject. It would be best buddies budget request. Description would be for the year. The total amount of what you're asking us for, $50,000. We don't have $50,000, Best Buddies, but you're asking us for $50,000.
Best Buddies will take $50,000 if you want to give it away.
Yeah. And so, and then you would say categories, annual allocation for the budget, because that's for next year. And you would tell us where you want the money to go to. And then you would put it in your, I guess it don't matter, but you would put it in your allocated account. That's where the money would go. And then, and here we would, this is just like, this right here is just more information about the budget process. We don't know when it's due, so don't worry about that. And then what fundraising efforts, we always ask you this question, what fundraising effort has your organization recently put forward? It talks about community service. What is being planned? Things you have to agree on. It is super, super duper important that everyone is aware that they have to do the tax exemption form. And now that I think about it, we probably will add it into the Griffin Engage page for SGA, and then you'll be able to have it there when you need it. Also, you agreed to follow all of our clubs and organizations guidelines, which is the guidelines you usually would receive from Ali, that you do not misuse funds. And so over here, what we kind of did is that to do like individual event costs, like what are you asking for the funds for? But instead of having like 20 pages, we are allowing you to upload an Excel spreadsheet. And so in the past, we have heard that you can't save things or it's a little confusing. So you could actually have this meeting with your group, and then you could put all the information that we are asking, these 6 questions, in an Excel spreadsheet, let your advisor see it and everything, and then you just upload it to us, and that's how we would get it. But
Oh, crap, 425. Seriously?
we could hear you. That's what the create funding request is for, but it's not really a form that you would use on a regular basis. Any questions? Anything you want us to go over? I think we like covered almost everything. Once again, we hope to tell you a budget soon. But if you really need to request things, you can still request it, because Betsy tried it for me and she was able to request for funding. Put a purchase request without having funds.
Yeah.
So
I did have to put in a form, I think also I had to upload in order to, that might have been because of the choice that I made in terms of checking the box, but
Okay.
It did work. I get $1. I'm $1 in debt.
Okay. So we're gonna check to see what happens about, because it looks like it's not required, but maybe, I don't know, maybe one of them is required to be able to do it. So we'll check on that.
Okay.
But if y'all do not have any questions, once again, Danielle will send the recording out. Our hope is that we will also just create like a tutorial of how to go to places, and then it'll be on our site. And then even if you don't watch this video, you could follow it step by step, and then we'll have it. But we like test everything out like last night, so we'll get the document to you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Okay,
too.
see you
Afternoon.
later. Thanks for the information.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good to see everybody.
Bye.
Bye.